Hey everybody, now today we're going to do a study guide. This is our first study guide for our first test. Now, throughout this video, parents, you're going to have to make sure they do this. You're going to have to pause the video and copy down what I have and practice with me, okay? Now first, let's review writing the numbers in standard form. Now remember, standard form shows only digits. So look at this. This is picture form. Now we know that this cube equals 1,000, and this block equals 100, and these are 10 blocks, and there's 1, 2, 3 tens, so that would be 30, and then we have 1, 2, 3 ones, so we have 1,000, so it's showing up. We've got 1,133. This is written in standard form. It's showing only numbers or digits. Okay? Now we also have word form. This is 320,560. Now this is one of our larger numbers. So let's look at the first part of our word form. 320. Go ahead and write that. 320. And this is telling us it's in the thousands period. Remember we talked about this in class with different periods. And then you've got 560. So we've got the large number 320,560. And this is written in standard form. Okay? They gave us picture form and they gave us word form, and they wanted us to write them in standard form. Okay? Now, I'm going to remind you again, you're going to have to pause the video so you can copy these down. Parents, please make sure that they're practicing these problems and that they're understanding it. Alright, now our next directions say write the numbers in expanded form. Remember, when you expand something, you stretch it out. Okay? So we've got the number 3,462. Remember, we're going to stretch the number out for each place. We're going to start with the highest. The 3 is in the ones, tens, hundreds, thousands place. The 3 is in the thousands place, so that 3 is worth 3,000. Plus 4 is in the hundreds place, so it's worth 400. Plus 6 was in the tens, so that's 60. Plus 2 ones. And this is written in expanded form. We've got 56,321. So the 5 is in the ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s place. So this is worth 50,000. Plus 6 is in the thousands place, 6,000. Plus 3 is in the hundreds place. Plus 2 tens, which is 20. Plus 1. And this is written in expanded form. Now, our next review lesson, Our next review lesson is write the place of the underlined digit, then write the value. Let's move this. See if it'll stand. Alright. Now, my direction says write the place, and then it says write the value. There's two different directions. So I'm going to be looking for two different answers. Okay? The first number is 46,382. Now the underlined number is 3. 3 is in the ones, tens, hundreds place. Okay, so I'm going to write down hundreds. That's the place it's in. Okay, 3 is in the hundreds place, so this 3 is worth 300. Okay, let's look at number 2. The 9 is the underlined digit. It's in the ones, tens, hundreds, thousands place. So the 9 is in the thousands place. And so that means it's worth 9,000. Now, sometimes they'll give us the number and they'll go ahead and start the expanded form for us. And then they want us to write the missing value. Okay? So let's look at this number 3. Okay? The first number we're going to look at is the 6. Did they stretch out a 6? Yes, they did. Okay, so let's look for the 8. Did we stretch out the 8? 8 is missing. Okay, so now let's find the value of the 8. It's in the ones, tens, hundreds, thousands place. So that 8 is worth 8,000. Number 4. Okay, we're going to look for the 4. Did we stretch it out? Yes, we did. Let's look for the 9. Did we stretch it out? Yes, we did. Let's look for the 2. Did we stretch out a 2? No, it is missing. Okay, so the 2 is what we're looking for. Now to find the value of that 2, let's see what place it's in. 1, tens, hundred. That underlined 2 is in the hundredths place, so it's worth 200. Now, number lines. Okay? This one says, what point on the number line represents 43? Now, remember, on the number lines, we're always looking for a rule, okay? And we start with the numbers we know. We know the whole number 40, 42, 45, okay? And they want to know what point on this number line would 43 fall, okay? So let's look for something similar and see what rule we could come up with, okay? We've got F, then 40, then we have a missing number, 42, a missing number, and 45, and then H, okay? What number could we come up with that would come between 40 and 42, okay? We know the number 41. So looking at the beginning of my number line, it looks like we're counting by 40, 41, 42. It looks like we're counting by ones. So since that's our rule, let's continue our pattern. 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. Okay, so our rule worked. Okay, so now let's look back at our number line. Where did 43 fall? It fell right here at point G. Okay, so G would be our answer. Let's look at the next number line. It says find the missing numbers. Now, we need to find a rule. Okay, so we know the whole number 20 and we know the whole number 120. Okay, now we've got missing numbers in between here. And there's not really numbers that can help us find a pattern. Okay, so let's take what we know. We know the whole number 20. Now remember, in class we learned if the zeros throw you off, block the zeros off at first. Let's not look at them. Let's look at our basic facts, which is 2 and 12. So we start out with 2, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 points in between. So 1, 2, 3, 4 missing numbers, and then we ended up with 12. So what pattern can I skip count by to start at 2 and 4 numbers in between and end up with 12? Okay? Let's count by 2's. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and my next number would be 12, and that worked. Okay, so my pattern is count by 2. Now that's my skip count pattern. Okay, so if my next number after the 2 is 4, then I'm going to have a 4 here, 6, 8, and 10. I just filled in my blocks for my skip count pattern. Now remember, we blocked out our zeros so that we can concentrate better. Now we have to put them back. Okay, if this was originally 20, then that means this is going to have to be 40, and this is going to have to be 60, and this is going to have to be 80, and this is 100. So that looks like our rule was count by 20. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120. Now, combinations. This says how many sandwiches can Sarah make using the following choices. Now this is a word problem. Remember our strategies for word problems, okay? We circle our keywords, okay? How many sandwiches can Sarah make using the following choices? Okay, remember we're going to star our picture so that we look at our picture for information that we need. Okay, and remember there's steps to problem solving that we talked about in class. You can guess and check, you can make a list, you can write a number sentence, you can work backwards. Okay, there's several strategies. Remember when you're trying to find combinations, in class we talked about the best strategy would be to make a list. Okay, so we have 2 different choices that we can use for bread. And we have 3 different choices of meat. Okay, we can have white bread and rye bread, or ham, turkey, and tuna. Okay, so let's make a list of everything we could possibly have. Okay, so we can have white bread and ham. We can have white bread and turkey. We can have white bread and tuna. And those are all the choices we can have with white bread. We could also have rye bread with ham, rye bread with turkey. We could have rye bread with tuna. So altogether we could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We could have a total of 6 choices, okay? Now, comparing numbers. Remember we use greater than, less than, or equal to symbol. The alligator's mouth always points to the bigger number, and the nose always points to the smaller number, okay? So in this number, which is greater? Now remember we talked about when comparing numbers, you always start with the highest place value. So the highest place value is thousands. So we have a 5 in the thousands place here, a 3 in the thousands place here. Which is greater, 5 or 3? If you said 5, you're correct. So we use our greater than symbol with the mouth pointing to the larger number. Okay, now we can also order number from least to greatest. Now remember, sometimes they'll ask for least to greatest, sometimes they'll ask for greatest to least. You have to pay attention to your directions to see which one they're asking for. In this example, they want least to greatest, okay? So we're going to start with our smaller number, okay? The highest place we have is the hundredths place. We have a 6 in the hundredths place here, a 4 in the hundredths place here, then we have 1s, 10s, and there's no hundredths place here. So I'm just going to put a 0 to hold the hundredths place. Now, out of 6, 4, and 0, which is the smallest number? 0. So that means 28 is the smallest number. Then 4 comes next, so 456 is the next smallest number. And then 689 is the greatest number. Now we've ordered our numbers from least to greatest. Okay? These examples that we've just talked about are the majority of what we covered in topic 1. Okay? Parents, help your children go back over these examples that we've just discussed. You can also look back in your book to find more problems to see if they really comprehended and have them practice some more. Okay? Remember to study your math vocabulary because there will be a little vocabulary section on your quiz. Okay? Remember to use your strategies for problem solving that we've talked about. Circle your key words, underline your questions, and show work. Okay? Review your notes in your notebook. For each lesson, we've got these examples and we've got all the notes that we've just discussed. Okay? Get some rest, get a good night's sleep, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.